I was reading a Reddit thread that was like, what were the most tragic deaths? What were the deaths in movies that affected you emotionally more than any other ones in history? And one of the top comments was when that person dies in The Matrix and they say, not like this, not like this. And it got me so good. Because, I mean, it's a moment you remember, but like one of the most emotional deaths in movie history. They wrote, and I never even thought about this, but they wrote like a whole justification too. They were like, apparently their name is Ghost. They were like, that, or maybe it's Switch. That's Switch. Okay, that Switch went to the Oracle, and the Oracle told them that they were gonna die in battle, and they were okay with that. But then they never expected that their death in battle wouldn't come in combat. It would instead just come from being unplugged by one of their crew members. And I was like, man, I really liked The Matrix, don't get me wrong. I never thought about it to that extent. And then somebody else said, yeah, I also cried when Mouse died. And that's the really skinny guy, right? That when he opens up the curtains and there's a brick wall there, he pulls out two enormous like machine guns and goes, I'm not trying to shame anybody for crying in a movie. Lord knows I've been talking about, Toy Story 2. It's a very emotional film. That shit got me weeping, bro. I will say, my child watched Toy Story 2 again yesterday. I know you're like, what do you mean again? Well, she's 2, and she was homesick, so she watches like some stuff now and then, including Toy Story 2, because it's her favorite movie of all time. When the Jessie song came on, I'm not ashamed of my emotions, but I was like, I literally just bawled to that scene on Sunday, so I just turned my back to the TV and then like looked at my phone. I was like, I'm not running it back again this quick. In a month, I'll cry to that scene again, but I'm not messing up like my brain for the next 15 minutes to the same thing that I messed it up with on Sunday. It's okay. I cried at the end of Ratatouille. Is that normal? I think crying to like almost any piece of media that's meant to be sincere is normal. I don't think you should be ashamed about that. I mean, especially like kids' movies are sincere, right? Sometimes they might be a little saccharine, but they're meant to be sincere. So I don't think there's anything wrong with crying about sincerity. Now, is it possible that I might poke fun at it from time to time? Sure. That's something that I could foresee happening. Like if you cry in Spider-Man 2 when Spider-Man uses his webs to stop the subway train from going off the platform. To me, that's a little... I'm merely going to say it's humorous. I'm not saying anything else about it. I'm merely saying it's humorous. I cried when Susan died on Seinfeld. See, that's crazy because George didn't even cry when Susan died on Seinfeld. Which for me is problematic because I think that, you should probably like be a little upset when your fiance dies, especially if it's due to your desire to be spendthrifty. Holy cow, we won! Are you gonna cry when the Paw Patrol dogs are killed by Jigsaw? Nobody's going to see Saw Patrol, man. I'll be a little mad at you if you go to see Saw. I'll be really upset with you if you go to see Paw Patrol. It's as simple as that. You don't have anything to worry about. Why? Because it's the 10th Saw movie. Like, if they were gonna make a good one, they would have done it a long time ago. They're not capable of doing it. Is my brain broken if I cried during Moneyball, but I didn't cry during my grandfather's funeral? No, that's like, it's too easy to mind that for like a joke. I think that's just normal. I don't mean that that's the typical experience, but I think it's like within the bounds of normalcy. It's within the range of normality, at least. I definitely I saw Wall-E in 2009 and cried like a baby at the end of it. And then in March 2010, my grandfather died and I was sad, but I never cried about it at all. But I probably would have cried if my grandfather became a robot who was in love, but then his memory got wiped, and instead of being a noble robot, he just went back to making little trash cubes and stuff like that. Because there's something more I don't. Death is tragic, but you can also concoct a story where something more tragic than death happens. I'm not saying that Wall-E is sadder than a real person dying. That's crazy. That's insanity. But you can definitely make a story where something worse than death happens in the story that makes your brain go like, oh, I'm sad. Because when I got the phone call that my grandfather died, they didn't play like some fucked up sentimental music or something like that designed to like pull on your heartstrings, right? It's not like my mom was like, oh, just wait a second. I gotta set the mood, you know? We got Hans Zimmer on the other line. Hans Zimmer on the conference call coming in.